The Science Guardians of Shenzhen. An adventure through sound, forces, planets, space, and our amazing Earth. This story has been designed to support the end-of-year revision for Grade 5. I hope you enjoy it.
Chapter 1. The Mysterious Science Tournament. On a rainy morning in Shenzhen, 4 Grade 5 students hurried into Harmony International School. Kai loved space and technology. Jun loved machines and building things. Mei loved plants and animals. Lena loved science experiments. Following closely behind them was Biscuit, a cheerful golden puppy who always seemed to find trouble before anyone else. Biscuit was a magical alien puppy who could grow new legs whenever it wanted. As they entered the science laboratory, Biscuit suddenly barked at a strange glowing crystal sitting on Mr. Gary's desk. Woof! Woof! Before anyone could stop him, Biscuit nudged the crystal with his nose. The crystal floated into the air. A bright blue light filled the room.
"Attention!" bellowed the hologram. "Science Guardians, you must act now. The balance of knowledge has been broken. If you cannot restore the science realms, all science on Earth will disappear." Before they could answer, a portal opened beneath their feet. Whoosh! The 4 friends and Biscuit were pulled into another world. "The 12 science realms await you," said the hologram. Their adventure had begun. Suddenly, they were transported to another world. The students landed in a city where giant musical instruments floated through the sky. A talking drum blocked their path. "Answer my questions and you may pass." Biscuit barked excitedly. "Woof! Woof!" The drum vibrated loudly. "Why must I do that?" Lena smiled. "That's easy. When objects vibrate, they produce sound." "Correct," boomed the drum. A guitar floated past. It asked, "Am I a percussion instrument?" Jun laughed. "No, you're a string instrument." A giant cup and string telephone appeared. "How does sound travel through this?" asked the drum. "Sound can travel down a string," answered Jun. Nearby, tiny air particles danced around them. Mei pointed. "The instruments are vibrating the air." The sound crystal appeared. The first realm was saved. Chapter 3. The Valley of Forces. The friends entered a racetrack where a magical car stood frozen in place. 4 glowing arrows surrounded it. A robotic referee appeared. "To save the crystal, you must name all the forces." Jun stepped forward. "The force pushing the car forward is an applied force." Kai pointed to another arrow. "The air pushing against the car is air resistance." "The force slowing the wheels is friction," added Lena. "And gravity pulls everything toward the ground," said Mei. The referee laughed and was very happy. "Yes, that's a perfect example of gravity." At that moment, the car roared to life and drove away. Chapter 4. The Forest of Living Plants. A giant forest stretched before them. A flower spirit floated down from the trees. "Only those who understand plants may enter." The spirit pointed to a giant flower. "Which of you can name my different plant parts?" Mei smiled. "Roots, stem, leaves, and flowers." Biscuit began digging enthusiastically. Soon he uncovered a network of roots. Woof! Excellent work, Biscuit, laughed May. Nearby stood a fern and a patch of moss. Do these have flowers? Asked the spirit. No, said May. I know that ferns and mosses do not have flowers.
The spirit nodded. What is the female part of a flower? The carpel. And the male part? The stamen. Golden pollen sparkled through the air. They were all thrilled as another crystal floated into their hands. Chapter 5. The Polar Guardian. Snow suddenly covered the ground. A giant polar bear emerged from the ice. Biscuit wagged his tail and tried to make friends. Woof! The bear chuckled and said, "Can you name 2 adaptations that help me survive?" May thought carefully. You have white fur to help you blend into the snow, and padded feet to walk on the ice. Kai added, your small ears help reduce heat loss. The bear nodded. You understand adaptations, well done. As the polar bear finished congratulating them, the ice crystal floated into their hands. It was time to travel again. Chapter 6. Appleboy's Journey. A familiar figure came running towards them. It was Appleboy. Biscuit is trying to eat me, he shouted. Biscuit was only chasing him playfully, but Appleboy was scared and jumped into a giant model of the digestive system. Follow me, Lena said. Then she pointed. First comes the mouth. Then they followed the Appleboy down the esophagus. Next is the stomach, shouted May. Appleboy waved for everyone to follow him to the small intestines. Finally, they all reached the large intestine. Everyone cheered, and Appleboy smiled and said, "Digestion breaks food down into nutrients." Then, as if by magic, the digestive crystal appeared. Chapter 7. The Seed Kingdom. Tiny seed people lived inside giant beans. The Seed King welcomed the visitors. My seeds has 3 important parts. He pointed to the outer layer. The seed coat protects us. Then he pointed to a tiny plant. This is the embryo. And this part stores food. The king asked one final question. What does a seed need to germinate? May answered confidently. Air, water, and warmth. Outside, Biscuit chased a seed floating through the air. The Seed King laughed, looking at Biscuit. That is seed dispersal. The wind carries seeds away from the parent plant. Another crystal appeared from the treetops and was restored. Chapter 8. The 3 Matter Masters. 3 wizards magically appeared. The first one was made of ice. The second was made of water. And the last one was made of water vapor. We are the 3 states of matter. I am a solid, shouted the ice wizard. I am a liquid, said the water wizard. And I am a gas, laughed the water vapor wizard. Then, all the wizards pointed to a giant kettle. When water reaches 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. It becomes water vapor. When cooled, water vapor condenses into water. When water reaches 0 degrees Celsius, it freezes into ice. As the wizards finished their explanation, everyone watched in astonishment as a new crystal began rising slowly from inside the hot kettle. The matter crystal was restored. Chapter 9. The Healthy Food Arena. The students entered a giant food stadium. Large, bright food groups floated overhead. Carbohydrates, fruit and vegetables, protein, dairy, and high fat and sugar. A nutrition robot appeared. What group contains milk and yogurt? Dairy, answered Lena. What group contains chicken? Protein, said Jun. Then everyone gasped as Biscuit jumped to steal a chicken sandwich. The robot beeps loudly. Protein confirmed. Everyone laughed as the sandwich then disappeared just as quickly as it had arrived. Do bananas belong in dairy? No, shouted Kai. Which group should we eat less of? High fat and sugar, said Jun. The crowd cheered. The food crystal floated down and was restored. Chapter 10. The Space Junk Crisis. The students blasted into space aboard the Star Dragon. Kai could hardly contain his excitement. Around Earth floated countless pieces of space junk. Trillions of pieces of space junk orbit Earth, said the ship's computer. What are they? Asked Lena. Old spacecraft and tools dropped in space, replied the robot. Suddenly, Biscuit looked through the window. Woof! Woof! A metal bolt was flying straight towards them. Oh no, it's very dangerous, shouted Kai. Because it travels very fast. They skillfully dodged the metal bolt and then repaired a damaged satellite. Later, Kai pointed at the moon. That is a natural satellite. Then he pointed at a man-made satellite. That is an artificial satellite. The space crystal was successfully restored. Chapter 11. The Water Cycle Mountain. A giant mountain rose above the clouds. The students watched in wonder as water seemed to rise from the sea. Evaporation, said Lena. Water is changing into water vapor. Look, dear! Clouds are forming overhead. That is condensation, said Kai. Rain began to fall. Look over there. That is precipitation, said May. The students watched as water flowed through rivers and groundwater before returning to the ocean. Then a warm glow was felt, and the water crystal glowed brightly behind them. The final realm of Earth was in danger. Smoke filled the air, rubbish covered the land. Dirty water flowed into rivers. The Earth Guardian appeared. What kinds of pollution do you see? Air pollution, said Jun. Land pollution, said May. Water pollution, said Lena. The final realm of Earth was in danger. Smoke filled the air. Rubbish covered the land. Dirty water flowed into rivers. The Earth Guardian appeared. What kinds of pollution do you see? Air pollution, said Jun. Land pollution, said May. Water pollution, said Lena. The Guardian explained to the students that as Earth moved around the sun, the seasons changed. Winter became spring. Then, spring became summer. Then, summer became autumn. And autumn became winter. Chapter 13. The Tilt of the Earth. The students were lifted into space one final time. Earth spun before them. "What angle is Earth tilted?" asked the Guardian. Kai smiled. 23.5 degrees. "You are very clever," said the Guardian. The Guardian explained to the students that as Earth moved around the Sun, the seasons changed. Winter became spring. Then, spring became summer. Then, summer became autumn. And autumn became winter. The Guardian Master smiled. "You will know much more than you realize. But remember, never leave a question blank. A blank answer gets no points." "Woof, woof, woof." "I think Biscuit agrees," laughed the Guardian Master. "Always try your best." The four friends sat down together. They picked up their pencils. Now they were ready for the final challenge. Chapter 14. The Final Challenge. The Guardian Master smiled. "Well done. You have restored every science realm." Biscuit wagged his tail proudly. "There is only one challenge left." 4 exam papers appeared. Kai looked nervous. What if we forget something? The Guardian Master smiled. "You will know much more than you realize. But remember, never leave a question blank. A blank answer gets no points." "Woof, woof, woof." "I think Biscuit agrees," laughed the Guardian Master. "Always try your best." The four friends sat down together. They picked up their pencils. Now they were ready for the final challenge. This has been a fictional story about science topics that we have learned throughout the year. I hope you enjoyed the story and that it helps with your revisions. And finally, thank you for listening. This story was created and written by Mr. Gary.